in chapter 4:1.
Adam knew his wife Eve intimately, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. She said, I have had a male child with the Lord's help.
Okay, this is really, really cool. This is impressively cool. First, your version explains what knew his wife means. Most of them just say knew his wife, but you added in intimately, or their version, that version did. It's good because you'll see that throughout the Bible, and if you have a particular version, it'll say Adam knew his wife, or David knew this girl, or whatever. But that's what it means, is intimately. So this is really cool, and I want to show you something about this. I was reading a rabbinic commentary one time that my mom sent me. Foreman, remember you used to read that guy Foreman, Rabbi Foreman? You'd send me his stuff. Okay, he did a commentary one time, and I couldn't help but think to myself, man, did he miss the ball. He did a commentary on this verse and a little bit more of this particular passage, and it is so interesting what he wrote, but he just missed the entire picture, and that's because he hasn't come to Christ. There are two words that can be translated with in the Hebrew language. One is im, and one is et. Now, we talked about the word et before, which is the middle word of the first sentence of the Bible, okay? And it also looks like a bull and a cross written in the paleographic Hebrew. Anyway, so you have im and et. There is a difference between that with. Et is not always translated, but sometimes it is as the word with, in other words. Okay, the difference is if you say, I typed a book with my typewriter, the typewriter is passive, okay? It's not doing anything. If you say, I wrote a book with Linda and Robin, then they are actively participating in the writing of the book. She used the word actively participating in here, et, okay? So what she is saying is, I have acquired a man with the Lord. Now, tell me what that means to you. Why would she say that? Think it through.
To show that Joseph was not, that Eve was not the...
He was part of it, gee whiz.
Who? Who was part of it?
Adam was not the DNA giver.
No, yes he was.
Was he?
Yes he was. Why would she say, though, I have acquired a man with the Lord?
This is the Lord's will.
She is saying, I participated in this action, and the Lord participated in this action. Where did they just leave? They just got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. We don't know how long, but this is the first child out of the Garden of Eden. Okay? What does that picture? We already talked about this when they sewed together fig leaves.
And there were no sewing machines.
She is participating in her salvation. Remember what it says in Genesis 3:15. Somebody go back and read Genesis 3:15.
And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel.
Actually, it's he will strike his heel. The offspring, I understand. The offspring of the woman would defeat the devil. Okay? She is thinking, they have no idea how long they're going to be out of the Garden of Eden. They have no idea how long paradise is going to be restored. She is thinking, I am participating in getting myself back into the Garden of Eden. And she used the word actively participating in this, rather than saying, I have acquired a man with the Lord. The Lord gave me this child, and, in the end, it's the Lord who made us, and he is fully responsible for everything that happens. She is saying, I have participated in what's coming. She named her son Acquired. That what Cain means acquired, to acquire. So she has acquired the son, which she believes is going to bring her back into the Garden of Eden. Do you see what's happening here? And she says, I've done it with him. Me. Right? The seed of the woman is going to bring this state back to us. She doesn't know that it's going to be a seed thousands of years later. She just was told that your offspring will strike his heel or crush his head. Anyway, let me read that again. Yeah. Oh, and you shall bruise his heel. That's correct. Okay. It does say you. I'm sorry. It says, I will put enmity between you and the woman, okay, the Satan and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. So it's her, and she's saying it's the woman's seed, okay? He shall bruise your head and you shall bruise his heel. Okay, the woman shall bruise his heel. Anyway, there you go. So this is what's going on here, is that she is using the word active participation. And this guy was writing this out, and we're going to get later to why he was wrong. But I thought it was a great commentary because it's actually, it's appropriate. Do you see what I'm saying? He missed the significance, this rabbi, because he hasn't come to Christ yet. But anyway, let's go on from there. Verse 2.
And again she gave birth to his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of flocks, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Okay, the name Abel is the word Hevel. Okay, Hevel is the word that is translated in Ecclesiastes. King James Version would say vanity of vanities, Hevel Hevelim, or the NIV says meaningless, meaningless, all is meaningless. Yeah. She says it's all meaningless. And Hevel actually is vapor that disappears, like when it's a cold morning and you breathe out and the vapor disappears. Why would she name her son that?
Yeah. Was she disappointed?
Cain didn't do. Yeah. She thought that Cain was immediately going to bring her back to the state. And sometime later, this guy Abel came along, and he had no idea, or she had no idea, that it was going to be the seed from way down the line. And she was totally disheartened. She's saying it's all meaningless. I misunderstood what the Lord was saying. It's just meaningless. You see what she is thinking? She is thinking about getting back to the garden. That's all she could think of. She came from this Eden, this paradise, right? And all she can think of is, I want to get back there.
She must have been depressed.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, imagine. Adam's out working by the sweat of his face. She's having extra pain in childbirth. Life is miserable. They step on thorns. They bump their toe. All the things that they never had happen in the Garden of Eden. However long they were in there, that is what she... Anytime you see a name in the Bible, there is a reason why that person was named that. As I said, every word in the Bible has a specific meaning. This one is breath. It's just, it's futile. It's meaningless that what's happened here. So she named him Abel. Abel was the keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Okay, now, I won't get into that now. Go ahead, verse 3.
In the course of time, Cain presented some of
the fruit of the ground.
Keep going. We'll read for a while. Go ahead.
And Abel for his part brought of the firstlings of his flock, their fat portion, and the Lord had regarded Abel offering, he has no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell.
Okay. Why did the Lord not regard the offering of Cain but of Abel? Now, I have heard sermons where this has been spoken, and there's what's called the scarlet thread, and I'm going to let you know this in advance so you don't make the error. The scarlet thread is in the Bible where all through the Bible there is an offering of blood, okay? That is not why the Lord did not accept his offering, okay? It plays into it, but that is not why. In other words, the scarlet thread says that God shed the blood of an animal to cover Adam and Eve in the garden, right? And so that set the pattern for all other sacrifices in the future. But that is not the reason why it wasn't accepted. There's two ways that we can know this. The first is that in the book of Leviticus are meal offerings and grain offerings. Do you all know that? And they didn't just have animal offerings, they also had meal offerings, they had bird offerings, they had all these other offerings. If these offerings were acceptable, then this would be an acceptable offering, okay? The Lord doesn't change. An offering is an offering, okay? The old lady at the temple gave 2 pennies, and it was an acceptable offering in the Lord's sight. Why would the offering not be acceptable?
If he had told them.
If what?
If God had made it clear to them.
Right, but it doesn't say that in there. It doesn't say that. We don't want to read anything into the text. It's not there. Why think, though? That's good answer. But
if he did something that was wrong, or the Lord would have said, "Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted?" So he did something wrong.
He did do something wrong. Now, what was it that he did wrong? He was lacking something in his offering.
Maybe he gave it.
What? Faith. Go to Hebrews chapter 11. Go to Hebrews chapter 11. Anytime you have a question about why something happens in the Bible, whether it's Rahab or whether it's Cain or Abel, it doesn't matter who. Go to chapter 11. It's probably going to give you the answer. All right? Go to verse 4 and read that. Hebrews 11:4.
By faith Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained witness, and he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and through it he being dead still speaks.
Okay, by faith. Now, I'm going to get totally off of Genesis for a couple minutes, and I'm going to teach you something that this is my own doctrine, okay? So if you have a problem with it, blame me. Don't blame anybody else. I don't know one other human being on earth that has ever taught this, okay? But I know it's right because of what it just said in Hebrews 11. Don't get angry. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. And I'm letting you know that in advance. What does it say in the book of, what does Paul say about salvation? How are we saved?
By faith.
Okay, by faith, by grace through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is a gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Okay, faith. All right. He says you are justified by faith. You are justified, justification, according to Paul, justified by faith. That's all he says. All right. Now let's go real quickly to James. And once again, please don't, especially Mike, because he's been trained in a seminary, he's probably going to not like, what's that? Okay, well, you're extremely knowledgeable, so I don't want anybody to get angry by this, but let me find it. I think it's probably in chapter 3, and it says here, wisdom, it might not be, hang on a second here. I've got this on Facebook, and I've got it clearly laid out, so if I'm not very eloquent in what I'm thinking here, you can go to my Facebook page and you can read this, but let's see here. Bonnie, if somebody finds... Okay, so it's got to be in chapter 2, and then it says here, we'll start at 14. What does it profit, my brethren, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you says to them, depart in peace, be warmed and filled, but do not give them the things that are needed for the body, what does it profit? Thus also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. But someone will say, you have faith, and I have works. Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. You believe there is one God, you do well. Even the demons believe and tremble. But do you want to know, O foolish man, that faith without works is dead? Okay, then he goes into the example of Abraham. Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered Isaac, his son, on the altar? Do you see that faith was working together with his works, and works, faith was made perfect. By works, faith was made perfect. And the scripture believed, which says, Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. And he was called the friend of God. You see then, verse 24, Paul has already said, and you can pull it up if you want, or just believe me, Paul says you are justified by faith. He says here, you see then that a man is justified by works and not by faith. James says that you are justified by works, right? Okay, let me ask you something. Is there a contradiction in the Bible?
No.
If there's a contradiction in the Bible, then we have got wasted faith. That's all there is to it. Now, what is the answer? Every single commentary that I have ever read, and I know you probably know what I'm going to say. What is it that they say? How do they answer this? Have you read any commentaries on this?
Yeah, I don't know how they answer.
Well, I'll tell you, I have read hundreds of them. Every single one. I read one a couple days ago in Table Talk, all right, R.C. Sproul. Everybody says the same things, that we are justified by faith, okay, but works stem naturally from saving faith. If you have saving faith, then works come out of it, okay?